Hey, what's up, y'all? My little bees. Welcome back to the channel. Watch me go through my makeup routine as I get ready to film content tonight. We're starting off with voiceovers for now because I'm not 100% comfortable talking to the camera just yet, but we will get there eventually. Okay, so the first thing I'm trying today are these Korean eye patches I picked up at Ulta. They're from Correctors, the same brand that makes that super popular snail mucin that everybody raves about. I actually went and got it myself. So here is the packaging. I'm just showing it off, and look, as soon as I opened the lid, the little spatula flew right out. Like, okay. Dramatic entrance, I guess. So on brand for me. Then I made this face because look at the patches. They're bright hot pink, super glossy, and honestly dripping with the product. The texture is so thick, it's almost like jelly. So here I'm super confused because I tried to read the instructions, but of course they were in Korean. So you know what? We're just winging it here. Now, while I'm putting these on, let me share a little story. In friendships, I really value consistency, honesty, showing up, adventure, and inspiration. And that doesn't just apply to friends. It's how I look at relationships in general. The other day, my brother actually called me stressed out because, as I told you guys before, the way that I moved and my, current living situation isn't the most ideal. And he offered me to move in with him. And honestly, that really touched my heart because growing up, me and my brother were not cool at all. We did not get along. He actually did not like me in the slightest bit. So for him to call me like that now and genuinely want to be there for me, it really shows me how far we've come and how important it is to keep showing up for the people that we love. Please ignore the faces I make while applying these. I promise they work better than I look right now. Quick water break, because you know what? Your girl is dehydrated and baddies drink water all day, all day, all day. I was just so relieved. There's nothing like a nice big cold bottle of water, especially when you're thirsty. So while I'm waiting for these patches to do their thing, they need about 10 minutes. I'm putting on a lip plumper gloss. This is just your simple lip plumper gloss from Sephora. It costs $12. I like to do this early in my routine because it takes a while to activate. So by the time I'm done with everything else, my lips are ready to go. Next up is the e.l.f. brow gel. I love this because it's affordable and it actually works. I like to apply this early in the routine as well. So there's not any other products on my face. That way my brows stay in place without getting messy. And honestly, brows are such a confidence boost for me. When my brows are done, I feel like I could take on the world. It's funny because I used to not even think about them at all. But now they're one of the first things I do. It just shows how even little changes in your routine can make a huge difference in how you carry yourself. So there is a thing called brow blindness, which you need to be very careful for because actually brows really do shape the face. So that's really important. Another funny thing about brows is how many phases they've been through. 1 decade, it's pencil thin, then sharp Instagram block brows, and now it's all about fluffy laminated vibes. It's wild how we've all just collectively gone along with it too. But honestly, I kind of love it. Brows really do set the mood for your whole face, and each trend has had its moments. Confidence is funny though. Sometimes it's brows, sometimes it's coffee. For me, those are my 2 non-negotiables. If I have both, I feel unstoppable. What about you? What's your one little thing that makes you feel put together? Put it in the comments and then we could talk about it. This actually reminds me of a cute story from when I was little. My dad won me this teddy bear at the local carnival, and it wasn't just any teddy bear. It was holding a honey pot with fake little bees buzzing around it and fake honey drippings coming out of the sides. I remember carrying that little thing around like it was my most prized possession. I couldn't go anywhere without it. The funny part is I didn't realize how connected it would be to me later on. Like, here I am now building my honeybee brand, and I had no clue that little bear was kind of foreshadowing it. Looking back, it makes me smile because it's one of those small childhood memories that sticks forever. Even though I don't have the bear anymore, I still remember exactly how it looked and how excited I was that my dad won it for me. It just makes me think about the smallest moments that could leave the biggest marks. Now I'm moving on to primer, and I'm using the Milk Hydro Grip. This has honestly become one of my go-tos because it really makes my makeup last all day. Another good one, and it's surprisingly really good for the price point, it's like $6-7, is the e.l.f. Primer Putty. Poreless putty. That makes your pores disappear. So, I like to spread it all over my face and let it get a little tacky before moving on. Primer is one of the steps I never used to take seriously, but now I don't skip it. It feels like the glue that holds the whole look together. And honestly, there's something kind of calming about applying it. Like the first real step that says, okay, we're in glam mode now. While that sets, I'm curling my eyelashes. I don't know about you, but curling my lashes is one of those small things that instantly makes me look more awake. Even if I wasn't wearing any other makeup, just curled lashes make me feel a little fresher. Like I didn't just roll out of bed. I used to skip this step all the time, but now I notice such a difference in how open my eyes look on camera when I take the time to do it. Next, I'm applying the primer to my eyelids. I do this because my lids can get a little oily throughout the day, and without primer, shadow never stays put. Plus, it just makes the colors pop more. I think of it like giving my eyelids a little grip, the same way that Hydro Grip does it for my face. It's a small step, but it makes a huge difference in how clean everything looks once I start adding color later. Now it's time to finally remove those eye patches. I love how cooling and soothing they feel, and the best part is rubbing the extra serum under my eyes. It's like a mini spa moment in the middle of my routine. I try to be gentle here because the skin is so delicate, and honestly, this step makes me feel more refreshed. It's the little things like this that makes getting ready feel more like self-care than just makeup. Now I am taking a little brush to blend in that serum a little bit more, but I also have that Milk Hydro Grip primer that I put in as well. That goes before this yellow color corrector that I got from e.l.f. This step is great for canceling out the blue tones underneath. I just do like maybe 3 to 4 little dots underneath my eye. Then I'll take a beauty blender. I'm showing my Revolution Hydrating Setting Spray. And what I do is I spray my beauty blender with it. And then I go in to just start dabbing and evening it out. As I start blending, you can instantly see the difference. That brightening effect reminds me of the contrast between how I grew up and where I am now. But we're going to get more into that in a moment. Now I'm layering the e.l.f. Orange Color Corrector. This one's clutch for deeper tones or any darkness the yellow didn't fully cancel. I do a thin layer where it's darkest, then bounce it in with that same damp sponge. This combo is how I get a bright under eye without piling on so much concealer later. You can see right now the darkness I had before completely gone. Once that's blended and even, I'm moving into foundation. I know there's a lot of controversy about how to apply it on the back of the hand, a palette, straight to the face. This is just what works for me. I'm using NARS Foundation, which is more of like a matte finish that I really appreciate. It kind of depends on like what the mood and what the vibe is for the night. Sometimes I switch to a more hydrating one, but this is great. I love the NARS Foundation, highly recommend. And I pump it directly onto my skin. First, I'll pass a thin brush to spread it around, especially a careful around the brow so I don't mess up the shape. And I just do long strokes for the little pumps that I did to spread out the foundation. I literally love how I just have a straight face, no expression at all. I also am very careful about putting foundation underneath the eyes. I'll blend it in last, but when I'm spreading it out, I won't put it under the eyes because that can cause like a gray look, and you don't want that. Then I switch to a thicker, soft bristle brush to blend everything together so that there's absolutely no streaks. This right here is like a 3-step process for me. This is the second step. It kind of just buffs out the harsh lines from the thin brush. After the brushes, I go back in with the beauty blender. I spray it with more setting spray to get it damp again. And then I press everything in so it looks skin-like. Sometimes, most of the time, I'll dot a little extra foundation on the back of my hand and tap the sponge into it for an even, seamless finish. While I'm blending this in, I can't help but to think about how makeup is kind of like life. You start with correcting, layering, blending, and eventually you see the picture come together. There's been plenty of times where I was like doing my makeup and like my family walks in when I'm in like the in-between stage and they literally told me how they got scared. I try not to take it too personal, but anyway. Growing up, I didn't really have support. Me and my mom, we were not close ever. She was very abusive. My dad wasn't really there either. He remarried my stepmom, and that woman made it very clear that she did not like me. So I spent much time alone with no one to really guide me. But I knew deep down I wanted to build something for myself that was better. One of the first steps that I could recall that made me really feel proud of myself was when I bought my first car. It wasn't fancy either. It was a 1996 Toyota Corolla. It was all white and the front hood had chips all in the paint. So it looked a little ratchet. On the inside it was nice, but the outside looked like ugh. It was only $1,000, but the insurance cost $6,000. That is ridiculous. That's the price of a new car back then. And I had no help. I had to figure it out on my own. That car was proof I could survive without anyone backing me up. And honestly, that independence is what led me to take one of the biggest risks in my life. I ended up moving across the country to Florida, as I mentioned to you guys before, with a guy I only been dating for about like 4 months. At the time, I had no friends, I had no family, and I literally had negative $250 in my bank account. It was the start of a disaster. And looking back, it was a mistake that left me feeling trapped in Florida for over 10 years. Well, it was 9.5 years. It wasn't over 10, but still, you get the point. But even in that, I learned so much about resilience. I learned that even when you make choices that don't go the way you hoped, you could still grow, survive, and eventually push forward into something better. Okay, cream bronzer time. I'm starting right at the top of my nose, a little along the bridge, a tap on the tip, then I move to my cheeks. Because I have a fuller face, I pull the bronzer further down to get more of that snatched look. Don't be scared if it looks bold at first. This is the sketch stage. Now I'm taking it across my forehead, along the hairline, so everything feels warm and cohesive. This is the longest part in my makeup routine, because you gotta draw everything on, then you have to blend everything out. Blending takes forever. Then I outline my jaw, nice and gentle, following the natural shadow. You see Bailey popped in to make sure that we are okay. That is my guard angel right there. I love her so much. She looks at me sometimes while I'm doing this process and gets a little scared, but it's okay. She loves her mommy regardless. Then I also add a little bit on the outside of my nostrils, so the center of my nose stays bright and the shape reads cleaner on camera. Every time I do this part on live, the chat says I look like a lion, or I'm trying to draw on a lion. I don't know what that means. But honestly, you know what? Fair. If I start roaring, it's the bronzer talking. I'm grabbing my beauty blender, soaking it with setting spray. Yes, very damp, because this part right here, this takes patience. I like to press instead of swipe, so I keep the structure, but also melt the edges. Think lifted and not muddy. This is also where my brain goes deep, since I have so much time, to blend all of this out. I start thinking about how quick we are to judge things, people, moments, even ourselves, right at the looks crazy phase. Like parents with babies crying in public. In some places, like other countries, folks give grace because that's what babies do. Here in the US, people glare. I try to remember that when I'm in my own messy middle. Not everything needs a snap judgment. Sometimes you just need a little blending. Same with my values and friendships. Consistency, honesty, showing up, adventure, and inspiration. Blending feels like that. Steady taps, telling the truth about where the shadow should live, actually showing up for the process, playing with shape, keeping the overall picture inspiring. You don't erase your face, you just shape it. You don't erase your story, you refine it. I'm still pressing along the cheek, the forehead, slightly lifting toward the ear, tapping under the jaw so it's the shadow, not a stripe, and bouncing around the nose so it stays defined without looking harsh. If you're at home doing this, take your time and add a little mist if your sponge dries out. The secret is patience and pressure, not product. Okay, see how it's going from lion to softly snatched? Forehead warmth is settled, jawline is clean, and the nose looks subtly sculpted. We survived the ugly stage, the stage where my family would come in and be like, everything's blended and lifted. Let's lock this and keep it moving. After I'm done with the bigger blending, I like to take the sponge and just blend all around the face to soften the other areas a little bit more as well. Now I'm going in with my Hourglass Concealer, my absolute favorite. It's full coverage, but it still blends beautifully. I apply right in the corner of my under eye, then swipe a layer across. This right here will have your under eye so bright and your face looking so lifted. I just love the formula. Look how well it just goes right on. I take it past the end of your brows. Then I take a slightly darker concealer from Tarte and place it up top between my eyebrows. I then put a little spot on my chin and I under conceal, which is just right under the contour of the cheek to sharpen it up. Trust me, remember, trust the process. Look at that map, look at that layout. I start by grabbing a fresh beauty blender. I never use the same one for concealer, bronzer, or foundation. Then I spray it down again with the Revolution Hydrating Setting Spray. Damp sponges really make the product just melt right into your skin. I start by blending that area in between my eyebrows. Then I'll just blend out some other areas that I possibly could have missed before with the bronzer. Then I blend out the chin. And then after that, that is when I'll blend out that area underneath the contour for the cheeks. I didn't show that in, but it's okay. And then save the best for last, the under eyes. When I get to the under eyes, I first go in with a soft bristle brush. First, to really carve out that lifted shape. Then I bounce it out with a damp sponge. And just look how well that is just melting right into the skin. I can literally see the transformation right before my eyes. And since this part takes a while to blend, here's a little story. My favorite part, story time. The whole point of concealer is to lift and brighten. And it makes me think of how I've had to do that in my own life. When I moved to Florida, it wasn't glamorous at all. I had no family, no friends, and literally negative $250 in my bank account. I felt like I was starting from the darkest under eye circles ever. And honestly, at times, I felt trapped. But just like concealer, it was about patience. One layer at a time, one bounce at a time. I started to lift myself up. Now, when I see this bright under eye coming together, it feels like a little reminder. You can start in the dark, but you don't have to stay there. A little care, a little work, and everything starts to look brighter. Now I'm going in with my Tarte Blush. I know it looks super intimidating in the pan because it's so bright, but don't let that fool you. It applies beautifully. Look at that. With this formula, you could really pack it on without looking crazy. I start from like the middle of my pupil and sweep it upward in a soft C shape. This gives natural lift instead of dragging the face down. As you can see, I tried to make that dramatic swoop so you can see exactly how I'm doing it. Then, this is my favorite, Makeup by Mario. Oh my God, watch my face. It looks like it exploded everywhere. I swear I didn't mean to make that face. But this blush is gorgeous. I don't care if it's messed up. I'll use it forever. It's earthy, subtle, and just melts right into my skin tone. Plus, it has a built-in brush. That brush is everything too. Look how great that blends it out. And look at that color. Look how beautiful it is. Look how great it's coming together. This is the perfect example of trust the process right here. The built-in brush makes it so easy when you don't feel like grabbing another tool. Definitely one of my favorites. Now I'm picking up my Revolution banana powder to bake. I like to apply it right along the jawline to sharpen everything. This right here really just brings the whole look together, and it really elevates it as well. I'll do a little bit on the forehead area as well, wherever we basically kind of put the concealer to highlight. I then use a pink setting powder. I blend it a little bit with the banana, and I'll use that mixture and apply it with a powder puff right underneath my eye, just like that. I really like the under blush technique. I really like looking pink, but I can't look too hot pink or bright pink because of my skin tone. So if I'm not doing a dramatic eye, say if I'm not doing a really pigmented eye while the baking sets, that's when I'll do my eyes. I honestly don't go for dramatic looks much these days, but I'll still add a little depth. I'll still add a little sparkle, you know. I start with this deep brown shade and I work it into my crease for definition. It's really starting to look snatched and put together. Look at that. I also like that brush because the bristles are angled, so that really gets into the crease how I want it. Then I'll grab this sparkly brownish pink shade, and oh my gosh, it's so pretty. I pressed it all over my eyelid and gave the perfect shimmer without being too much. Simple, but yet so effective. And if you see little Bailey in the background again, yeah, she loves to photobomb when I'm filming. She's honestly my little shadow. One time, I was doing my makeup live, and she literally jumped right in my lap mid-blending, like, don't forget about me. Everyone in the chat was cracking up, and I'm just here with contour with a whole dog on me, but honestly, I wouldn't trade it. She makes these moments even more fun. Now I'm picking up the Revlon highlighting palette, the Glow palette, and I'm going into this icy white shade. I love this for detail highlighting. I pop it right into the inner of my corner of my eyes to brighten them up. I then touch under the brow bone, like right underneath my brows, right on top of where the crease is, where I did that deeper brown color. Look how gorgeous that is. I'm gonna blend it in more so it's not as sharp. That's just how I do it first. Always tap it in with my finger just to melt it in. It keeps the glow soft instead of chalky. I did my eyeliner off camera. Still working on that skill, so we'll skip the struggle bus for now. Next, I grab my fresh powder puff and start blending out all the bake. This step is so satisfying. everything just comes together. The finish starts looking airbrush, matte, and snatched, not cakey. I make sure that every trace of powder is blended away so I don't look wild once the light hits. For lashes, I'm using a blue mascara. I don't always do this, but sometimes I like to spice it up a little. It's such a fun surprise. It's like, it still looks polished, but when you catch the light, it gives this playful vibe. Now I'm going back with that Revlon palette, hitting the high points, upper cheeks, bridge, tip of my nose, just to catch the light without blinding anybody. Highlight is one of those finished touches that makes me feel instantly put together. Like, okay, this is the final version. I know you guys seen this so much tonight, but this is finally the final step, the finishing spray. This keeps your makeup on all night. And I'm not gonna lie, I know I've been using that Revolution setting spray, but it smells so good. I'm so happy that the process is finally coming together, done. All right, makeup is set. So now it's time to do my hair. I picked up this edge control from the beauty supply store. Literally, it costs only $2, but this one works so well. First of all, it smells great. It smells really, really good. And then the hold on it. First of all, I have full 4C hair. It may not look like it, but my hair is full 4C hair. This gel right here controls that and holds it. It'll hold it literally. If I wrap my hair, it'll hold my edges for 2 days. So then I just use an old toothbrush to lay my edges down. Nothing fancy. I love doing my edges because it instantly makes me look more put together. Even if the rest of my hair is simple. Just like the finishing touch that pulls everything together. Then after that, I have to check my braids. There's some hair coming out of my braids. That's when I grab my Eco Styler gel and I smooth it over those 2 braids to calm down that frizz. Once that's set, once I really kind of just work it in, I pull everything up into a semi updo, I guess you can call it. And it's such a quick switch that it makes the style look polished without taking forever. And yeah, this is pretty much it. This is the final look, snatched, glowy, and ready for the day. Doing voiceovers like this has been such a fun way to share my routine. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.